Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Outdoor Fever. This week we're going to be going over my topwater strategies for this year. We plan on using a lot of topwater. It's, in my opinion, like probably the most fun way to fish besides the spawn. And yeah, we're just going to go through what I like to do and how I like to do it with all these different topwater lures, just depending on line, rods, and the actual lures that I will be using. So let's get into it here. We're gonna start out with probably the one that I use the most. Might not be my favorite, but I use it the most, and that is the Googan Blooper. It's their topwater popping lure. This is in the silver flash color. I got the red mouth and the silver and black back. Now I really like the Googan poppers because they're not too big, but they're not that small. So you're gonna catch a lot of fish because it's that right size for an aggressive fish that's in the mood to eat. But you're not gonna catch too small a fish because it's big enough so that those smaller ones can't really get it in their mouth. So it's like the perfect sized lure. I like using kind of like a 12-pound fluorocarbon or sometimes mono, but mostly just fluorocarbon for it. Just because I'm using it a lot in open water. I'm not trying to pull it out of the thick stuff and all that. So I like using lighter line, just makes the fight a little bit more fun. These hooks are very sharp hooks. You're not gonna have to sharpen them too much, and you're gonna catch a lot of fish before needing to sharpen them. So it's a very good tool to have in your toolbox. A popper is one of the best lures you can use for topwater, especially like when to use it would be like after a rain. A rain is a really good time to use it because there's bugs on the top of the water and sometimes frogs and stuff. You're trying to mimic, bugs and dying bait fish and frogs and all that stuff. So you're going to want to throw it shallow. Sometimes I like to throw it just, 10 foot of water. Just let those fish do what they do. And if they want to attack it, you know that they will. So that is probably the biggest one for me. The one I will definitely be using the most. So yeah, that's the popper. I love popping, and that's what I'll be doing a lot. But the next one for largemouth and occasionally smallmouth is the mini frog. This is the Googan Mini Eat Me Frog, and it's one of my another one of my favorite topwater lures. This one's definitely been through a lot. The paint job's starting to wear off. I've caught a lot of fish on that. It's definitely gone through a lot. Now I like this because you can catch a lot of the smaller fish on those pads, but it's weedless and you can throw it on the pads. It's a really good lure to fish the thick stuff. For frogs in general, I like to use probably like a 30-pound braid. I don't like 50. It just seems a little bit too heavy for me, but I do like to at least have braid on there. Braid is definitely a good thing to use. One of my favorite, this might be my favorite topwater lure, even though I haven't caught a whole lot on it. That's just because I'm not using it a whole lot. This is one of my favorite pike lures. This is the Googan, or not the Googan, gosh. This is the Savage Gear Suicide Duck. This is such a cool lure. I've obviously gotten into some fish, as you can see, because one of the legs already tore off. I got a lot of hits right when I first got this thing. Smallmouth hit it, especially like if you throw this right after the spawn. If you throw it up shallow where those bass are still going to be somewhat shallow, they're going to rip into it. This is a really good lure for right after the spawn and for pike in general. Like early spring for pike, this is a great lure. You watch like Yak Pack, or not Yak Pack, ND Yak Angler catch a lot of fish on these duck lures. Duck lures are really cool. Just the design of these things is crazy. They're very well done, and they get great action and a lot of swipes. Definitely use those this year for pike, muskie, and big bass. Now, you guys have seen the Googan Mini Revolver review that I did a couple weeks ago. If you haven't seen that, check that out. But that's just another lure that I really like using is the regular revolver, and then obviously the mini one. As you can see kind of the difference there. It looks pretty cool. Side by side there, this is probably my favorite color. It's like the matte bone with the red and then the white. It looks really good. This is a lot of times what they're seeing, and I've already gone over in those videos kind of the positives you can use to a Googan Whopper Plopper. But the smaller one this year is going to do a lot for me for largemouth fishing. Maybe smallmouth fishing, kind of like using it like the duck lure, just throwing it up shallow right after the spawn and trying to catch pike early springtime and stuff. Now here's another lure that you guys have probably never seen, and this is the Lunkerhunt Easy Prey, I think is what it's called. The bill is on the side of it like that, and it swims like this. It swims sideways. It looks like a dying shad, and it is one of the craziest lures I've gotten. I got this in a mystery tackle box, and I can definitely say this is one of the coolest lures I've gotten in a mystery tackle box. It's got 3 hooks, one top, one bottom, and one on the very end. It looks really realistic in the water. It looks just like a dying baitfish and gets a lot of strikes. You can't really go wrong with using it. There's just endless possibilities to using it. You can use it all year round. It does not matter. It just looks so good. It's like that dying bait fish. You can't go wrong with any of these, especially that one. Topwater is probably like one of my favorite ways to fish, just because you're seeing them blow up. You're fighting them on the top of the water. They're jumping. It makes it a lot more fun. Gives you a challenge, and there's a lot of good ways to use this. I like, for my rod, kind of having like a 7-foot lighter rod, just so you can really rip into them and feel the bites when you do get them, if they're just kind of coming up and swiping, if they're not really blowing up on it. It's nice to have a lighter rod that you can feel it and really hook into it. This year I'll probably be using a variation of Shimano's and Favorite and 13 fishing reels, and then probably my Googan rods, and then I have a Lew's rod too. That's probably what I'll be using for the most part. I really like using like some of these topwater lures on that Lew's, just because it's a little bit lighter. It's shorter. It's only 7 foot as opposed to my 7'5" Googan rod. It's a really good way to fish on that shorter rod, just kind of a twitchy rod. It's a really good thing to do. If you haven't done this already, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and comment. Share this with your friends, your family. We're really trying to grow this channel this year, and we're already doing a very good job at that. Thank you guys for all the support through the years and recently. Thanks for watching all my videos, and see you guys later.